Vale, vamos a ponernos en Ashes of Creation y vamos a ver esto, que esto es muy interesante. Ya sé que hay muchos de vosotros que os interesa el tema de la Ashes of Creation. A mí también. Es un grandísimo MMO que... Bueno, grandísimo MMO. Es un MMO muy ambicioso. Para los que no lo sepáis, bueno, voy a hacer una breve explicación. Ashes of Creation es un nuevo MMO que va a salir no se sabe cuándo, 2021, 2022, 2023, no se sabe. Pero seguramente vaya a tardar en salir. Y es probablemente el MMO más ambicioso del... el MMO más ambicioso del mundo. Es una puta locura. Tiene muy buena pinta. Es el único MMO que yo creo que podría realmente combatir con el World of Warcraft. Es el único. Pero es cierto que aún está en una fase de desarrollo muy inicial. Y por lo tanto, bueno, muy inicial. Ya hay una pre-alfa. Ya están desarrollando plenamente el juego. Y bueno, es un juego que tiene muchísima visión y que realmente hay muchos de la comunidad de aquí de World of Warcraft y en general de la comunidad de los MMOs que tenemos muchas ganas de que salga, ¿no? Entonces, pues bueno, toda la información nueva que va saliendo, etcétera, a mí me interesa verla porque es un MMO muy prometedor. Luego puede ser que vendan humo, nunca se sabe. Pero es un MMO muy prometedor y me parece interesante el ver la información que vayan sacando. ¡Empieza! Hay que pararse, chicos, lo siento.
Been enjoying your September and all of the sweet content that we've been showing.
Mi hombre lead designer Jeff Barth, que estuvimos hablando con él el otro día.
Along the way as well, and we've been excited. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. So first and foremost, welcome to the stream.
He metido un anuncio sin querer.
We are going to be going over a lot of things.
Hostia, os he metido un anuncio sin querer.
A little bit of detail about that. We'll do quick updates and then we'll get right into it. This is going to be a bit longer of a stream, so if you need something to drink, grab yourself a coffee during the intro and some water to get yourself started, because it's going to be a long one. First and foremost, I am joined by the wonderful Stephen Sharif, who is our creative director. How are you doing, Stephen?
I am doing well. We have had a crazy...
Mi hombre Steven. ¡Grande Steven! ¡Fucking go! Team Steven en el chat, chicos. Team Steven. Grande, me cae muy bien. Os doy un poquito de volumen, que soy un poco bajo, ¿vale?
I was up till like midnight. I don't know how long.
Si lo oís bajo, me lo decís.
It was late.
There was a 7 a.m. night. I think I was up for like 27 hours straight one day.
Yeah, I went to bed at 2 a.m. one time, and you went to bed. I saw that you posted something at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, clearly I'm not needed here. I'm gonna go get some sleep so I'm functional tomorrow. And then, of course, I'm joined also by Jeffrey Bard, who is our lead game designer. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. We had a fun day last night. You'll get to see some of that. But
se le oye muy bajo, Es problema de él.
Awesome. I love
Yeah, we're really excited for this stream because last night we were able to record some additional 4K footage.
Oh, dice que tiene nuevo.
Hopefully you all enjoy that. And we will be uploading that as a separate thing too as well, right? That's the plan.
Yes, so that's I believe that's being uploaded right now by Tristan to YouTube. It's going to go live, I think, just after the stream, so you guys can watch it there in its full 4K glory. But we're also going to show it on stream as well.
Yeah, it'll be cool. So I'm just going to go over kind of like what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to do a studio update. We'll do some design, and we actually have a really long video for you that we'll be playing. We have our environment update, character art update, and a Q&A as well. So it's going to be a long one with a lot of goodies. I do have some quick updates for you all, so I'll just pop over to those. Just so you know, we did just wrap up our immersion dev discussion, so thank you all for joining us and giving us a lot of great content there. Toast has wrapped up that and sent over the compiled takeaways to our dev team, so they will be looking over that report. Our next one is going to be on housing and decor tools. So we were really excited to hear your guys' feedback on that. I know design is working on a lot of housing stuff. You're actually going to see some of that stuff here as well, and some node relevant stuff. So definitely give us all of the goodies and details on that front. Beyond that, we do have we put out a really cool coloring book, and you all have definitely submitted some really neat coloring book submissions, so we wanted to spotlight.
So cute.
Yeah, we wanted to spotlight some of those. So here we go.
Esta mierda, hombre, por favor. Dios.
Thank you for submitting.
Contenido, ya, la cara.
Some really crazy
Córrete, mi cara, córrete.
And then, last but not least, people have been asking us about a Halloween contest, and we're not going to give you all the details yet. We'll have an article that will have all the information, so go to ashesofcreation.com/news. But
bueno, spam Te relajas con el spam, ¿eh? Venga, gracias.
We have our Glorious Gourd contest coming this October again, so stay tuned. We'll have all the details on what you can expect on that front here soon.
And to be clear, I think there's a specific prizes for the Glorious Gourd contest.
Se le oye muy bajo, chicos. Eso sí.
Prizes?
I think there's like some Alpha 1 keys that we might
What?
Alpha 1 keys!
Yeah, so we'll have more details about that, so stay tuned and do let us know your thoughts.
¡Yo quiero
on that
una!
front.
¡Que soy el rey de España! ¡Yo quiero una!
So with that, we will just get right into it. So Stephen, walk us through the studio update and tell us all the things.
Absolutely. So we have had a very successful previous round of hiring. We went in with 24 open positions, and I believe we are at 20 as of today that we have hired from the 24. So there's still 4 positions. You will see if you go to intrepidstudios.com that there is still a number of listed positions available, and that's because we really don't ever stop hiring per se as we're moving forward. We still need a lot of these positions, multiple people in some of these positions. Our next hiring round is probably going to be in January. That's when we really go with a number of additional positions and we kind of go into full-on recruiting. And that's going to be coming January. The studio update from a move-in standpoint, we have delayed our new move back to the studio. We're still working from home with COVID stuff, but we've delayed that until the beginning of the year because just kind of 2 things really. One, we don't know how fall is going to impact the COVID numbers and whether or not the great state of California is going to determine that offices that are non-essential can no longer work in their offices. And I'd hate to put the studio through getting back into the office and then having to go back to home. So we're going to wait and see what happens in fall. And then additionally, we have some deployments that are coming at the end of this year, Alpha 1 being one of them. And I don't want to mix up that hard work that many of us are going to be going through during that period and also have to juggle a move back into the studio. So that's probably going to come beginning of next year. Things are going really good from a development standpoint. We have had a lot of work done over the past couple of months since, July, really, when we started getting into some of that testing. We had some great tests this last weekend. We had about 440 some odd testers in on Saturday and Sunday, and we have been collecting a lot of data on performance optimizations, bug fixing. Really can't kind of express enough the hats off to our testers who have gone through this very, very buggy, preview of Alpha 1, which is great because we get to get all that stuff out of the way as we get closer to actually delivering Alpha 1. So major hats off to those testers. But things are really good.
So thank you for following along with us. And we have been posting the job positions that have been available on our social. So if you follow us on all of our social channels and our LinkedIn, if you're interested in those positions or you know someone who would be good for them, definitely follow up with them and let them know. We'd love to have them join our Intrepid family. With that, I think we're ready to go into design stuff, right? Yeah, so quick, I don't know if we want to go to the video right away or if you want to kind of preempt for some stuff first.
I think let's just preempt maybe the video just a little bit and then we'll just go into the video and we can chat afterwards. What do you think, Jeff?
I think that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little preamble to the video here, obviously, disclaimer necessary. This is the preview to Alpha 1, so technically still pre-alpha. Not a lot of polish, not a lot of optimizations. The UI is completely placeholder. However, in this video, what are we discussing, Jeff?
Well, sometimes it takes a little while to get from one place to another, and it helps if you have a mount. So we're going to be talking a little bit about mounts, and specifically mounts that are not afraid of getting wet.
Yes.
Vamos a hablar de monturas.
In a quick bit after you check that out.
Hello everyone, welcome to another 4K video in the development update of Ashes of Creation. Just wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about the progress and development of the preview for the Alpha 1 that's coming at the end of this year. I am joined by our amazing lead game designer, Jeffrey Bard, our resident bard.
Hi everybody, hope everybody's doing really well. We're excited to show you some cool things today.
Mira, la chica con la que estoy en contacto, Violet.
Our community marketing lead, Margaret Crone.
Hi, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about turtles, so, you know.
I'm very excited about turtles.
I like your little staff. It's like a little tiny baby
I
staff.
know, it matches your outfit, though.
Dwarf
yeah.
stuff.
It's like a dwarf staff, yeah. We also have Violet Light, our
Quiero escuchar su voz.
social marketing, or social media manager, I'm so sorry. Social media manager Danielle, Violet Light.
Hello, everybody.
We're playing an elf today.
Es muy allá.
An elf, I'm always an elf.
Today, I was like, always.
Oh, that's true.
Always.
That's true. I didn't think about that. And our senior community manager, Lieutenant Toast, or in this case, just Toast.
Just
No-
toast.
No
I brought my
tiny
best
toast
made-
today.
made
No
today.
tiny toast,
Sí,
no
No
mini
soy
toast.
sticks, no
Cualquier mujer que
chopsticks.
trabaje en Ashes of Creation,
That's so
si
sad.
quiere, la como el
Sometimes
coño.
it's really
Plain
delicious, though.
Toast.
Ni más ni
This
menos.
is true.
Así soy.
So, guys out there, guys and gals, we have been testing a lot over the past, gosh, when was the last time we did that 4K video? It was like in July, I think, right?
As
Wasn't
well,
it?
yeah.
Middle of July or something, June, I don't know. But we have been testing a lot. We have made a lot of progress kind of getting things ready for testers. Just this last weekend, we had a
La
little
nota
over
global
440
del juego,
testers helping
el
us
departamento gráfico
on Saturday
es
and
mejorado.
Sunday, and actually today, Tuesday.
Cosas van muy
We had a lot of
avanzados,
people in, squashing
pero
bugs,
le queda
finding
mucho trabajo
bugs,
al juego,
performance
No hay que vender la
testing,
piel del oso, ya sabéis.
pretty much getting as much as possible ready and tested. And we're going to continue to keep testing and getting the Alpha 1 ready for all of you guys those of you who are participating in Alpha 1, for those of you to get in and help us find things to iterate upon and test all the great things for Alpha 1. I'm pretty excited about that.
Que me
Aren't we,
chupen la
Jeff?
polla los que tienen 4K.
I
Que me la
can't
chupen.
explain exactly how excited I am. It's one of those things where, you know, stuff goes live and kind of everything kind of breaks loose and it's fun and exciting and it's like riding a horse. It's great.
I think for
Absolutely.
me, it's been really exciting to actually get to play with groups.
Qué bonito
'cause
tiene
I
que ser
hopped in and I played with a couple of
trabajar en un
different
proyecto
groups,
así.
and we had a lot of fun. So
Qué bonito.
Oh, yeah.
it's nice to hang out with
Wow.
the community. We have such awesome people and super,
Qué bonito.
super nice.
Yeah, we do have
And they've been so patient with us.
an
Yes.
amazing community. Every time, you know, I have an opportunity to interact with you guys out there in the community, I'm reminded yet again why we are doing this, and really what our motivation is to bring you guys an awesome game, something that you guys can be proud of and we can be proud of too. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your guys tuning in to our monthly live streams and, you know, jumping on our social media and interacting with our amazing community team, Danielle, Sarah, and Margaret. You know, it's a great pleasure to see you guys involved in the conversation and the discussion, giving your input, giving your experiences. It means a lot to our team as we go through that stuff. But what I'd love to do today is talk a little bit about mounts.
Yay! Is this where I get to finally ride my turtles?
Oh, should we ride turtles? So, okay, well, before we get into some turtles,
The suspense.
let us discuss a little bit. Actually, let me turn my UI on. By the way, our standard disclaimer, UI is placeholder. A lot of things need polish, so keep that in mind. There's really been no polish, and the UI is placeholder, and you might see bugs. So,
Por
yes.
los que
But,
tengáis alguna duda, estoy comiendo anacardos.
but getting a little bit into
Venga,
mounts.
vagina, cerda.
So just to kind of inform you guys who are unaware, we have a few types of mounts. We have flying mounts that are kind of restricted to royalty status individuals. Those are mayors and kings and queens of castles and legendary rare drops from legendary bosses. Those are the mounts that are capable of flying. You know, you may only ever see 10 to 20 or so on a server at any given time. And then we also have our land mounts, and land mounts come in three specific tiers, and each tier kind of has additional benefits. Those mounts have abilities, and they have skills that kind of get leveled up with the mount, and they can potentially glide, they can do cool roll
Están mal de
effects,
la
they
cabeza.
can just kind of do a whole interesting amount of things, and that's really tied to our animal husbandry system. So players will have an opportunity to kind of breed specific types
Es
of
que
mounts
se les
and
va la
stats
olla.
and skills and all that kind of
Se
stuff.
les va la olla.
You have a really unique
Meterle a la
twist
cultura,
on what's
habilidades.
available out there. But additionally, outside of the land mounts and
Están
the
fumando
flying
porros.
mounts, we also have water mounts.
Water
love
mounts.
water mounts.
Monturas de agua. Como la tortuga.
I
Venga,
do.
saca la tortuga, coño, que lo
it's
estamos
really-
deseando.
Yeah, if they're done right. And I
Absolutely.
think we're doing them right.
I think we are too.
Yeah, because sometimes there can be weird mechanics for them that makes it hard to like swim, but I like cars.
Absolutely. So why don't we do a little demonstration of some tide snappers?
Gotta give ourselves some space.
What's a tide snapper exactly?
What is a tide? Oh, there we go. We got a tide snapper.
¡Hostia!
That.
Here it comes.
Oh my gosh, we have multiple tide snappers. I'm just gonna kind of walk next to you guys.
Dios, cómo anda
So as
por
you
el
can
agua,
see,
eh?
the tide snappers,
Slow.
yeah, the tide snappers are relatively slow unless they are fully submerged within water. And as you can see, they're not really in the water quite yet. Oh, there's a little spurt of water.
Claro,
Oh,
porque
another
aquí no hay
little spurt
mucho
of
agua,
water.
¿no?
And I'm kind of in some weird water.
I love the,
It's
the
cool,
foam
refreshing
right
water.
here.
Yeah.
It's a square.
Para ser una
foam
pre-alpha
lapping
se
up
ve de
on the
puta
beach.
madre, la
So
verdad.
beautiful.
O sea, para ser una
Cool.
pre-alpha, evidentemente este juego
Alright, let me
requiere
jump on a tide
muchísimo
snapper as
trabajo
well.
aún. Muchísimo. Pero para ser una pre-alpha se ve de puta
Here
madre.
we go. So as you can see, it's super slow on land.
Nadan
But
como en
once
GTA,
you get
un
into
poco, sí,
the
¿verdad?
water submerged on an aquatic mount, you actually pick up
Claro,
some
es que
speed.
habéis escogido un sitio de mierda para intentar ir nadando,
Oh,
cabrón.
I'm walking. I'm still walking. I was like, why am I not going fast? There we go. Yay, and you can go under the water. Oh, we're under the water. This is amazing.
Wow.
I feel like
Ay,
a
Steven.
turtle
Submarino.
or a mermaid or something. I'm into it.
I'm definitely
Watch
gonna
your breath.
drown. I know.
Yeah, don't drown.
Let me
We've
just
done a few takes.
Yes.
You guys
Se ve
don't
así
have
mal,
the
rollo, debajo del
Barrel
agua.
roll.
Mola, ¿eh? Que se vea
Oh,
mal.
Look at that. All right, don't do a barrel roll. Ready?
No ves, esas colisiones ahora las tienen que hacer, tal. Pero.
Hey!
¡Hostias!
Hey,
Con el
that's good.
combo se sube, ¿eh?
So, I mean, you know, some of the great things about the aquatic mounts is there's a lot of sea content planned in Ashes of
Dios, el
Creation.
volcán,
And that sea
chaval.
content will include ships of different classes. It'll include raid bosses and treasures and underwater dungeons. And all of these things will be made
Underwater
much more
dungeons.
accessible if you are atop an aquatic mount like this amazing Tide Snapper. What are some...
So-
Oh, so go ahead.
I know a lot of people have questions like, will aquatic mounts be able to go as far as like big ships can go and things like that?
So yes, aquatic mounts will be able to fully traverse the naval areas in the water areas in Ashes.
Buah, es
So
una
an
movida,
intrepid
tiene varias
explorer could
patas,
choose
está
to
como
traverse
malita. Está como
on his
metida en
tide
una
snapper
vagina.
alone.
Correct.
No
As a
ves,
matter
aún
of
no hay
fact, there are going to
animación
be
de eso ni
cool
nada,
and fun
pero-
things that
pero
you
bueno,
can do
que
out
para ver el
solo
juego
in
está
the,
bien, ¿sabes?
waters as a adventure.
Para ser pre-alpha está
atop
mejor que
an
muchos
aquatic
juegos, por
mount.
supuesto que sí. Que es que la
I feel
gente...
like on land, the
que
tide
escucha lo que dice,
snapper
pero-
should like dig a hole and then bury
De
it.
locos, ya metió el de locos. El... Ah, no, es de
Oh,
otra
that's
persona
not
el de
cool.
locos. Vale, pensé que lo había metido el
Now, this guy doesn't really
cangrejo.
like water. as much.
No.
As a matter of
Scared.
fact,
No
he's a-
juzguéis el juego por que sea un
He is a
definitivo,
turtle,
no
but
lo
he's
es.
actually a tortoise.
Porque me encuentro
A
comentarios
land
de
tortoise.
peña diciendo, va, pero si el juego está hecho una
Yeah,
mierda, no
he's a
sé qué.
galactic tortoise.
Está hecho una mierda de
So he
momento.
likes space.
Porque está en
Honestly, as you
pre-alpha.
can see
El juego
inside
tiene
of
muy buena
his
pinta.
shell,
Que una pre-alpha esté
there
así
is
de bien
some-
hecha,
some
es
spatial
mucho
areas,
avance.
and as you
Veremos
kind
cómo
of
acaba el juego, de verdad.
move him around, that space changes a little bit. It's kind of
Pero sí,
cool.
este juego es
But
muy...
if you get him close to water, he really doesn't
complicado
like
hacer un
that,
volcán.
so he kind of escapes into his shell. And you're like, where are you, friend? He's like, all right, I guess it's safe.
Qué guapa la tortuga, la verdad, mola un montón.
It's,
It's
so,
so
cute.
cute. Danny and I said the same thing.
Jinx.
Yeah, I like him. Oh, I like the Swiftclaw, too.
Yeah, we've really got to give props.
Guay,
to
el
our
lagarto
animators
está
because all of
guapísima,
our
la cola
mounts
del
are
lagarto,
so full of character.
Mola un montón.
Oh, absolutely.
El lagarto tiene que ir
and
bastante
to demonstrate
rápido.
kind of the difference,
Mira-
so
mira
you see,
cómo anda,
as a
así como,
land mount,
como
he's
si estuviese
relatively
malito, es
fast
la
on
hostia,
land. But if you take him into the water, he slows down. And he's like, but I must swim. I don't want to swim.
He slows down, but he still looks cool.
Yeah, he does look cool. As a matter of fact, if you take him underwater. There we go.
Glowy.
Ooh. So
He
many.
sounds like he can't breathe though.
No,
Buah,
he
esto va a
has
estar
asthma.
chulo, la verdad. Para ir a farmear debajo del agua, etcétera.
Wow.
Tener monturas de agua mola.
Aw.
Porque
Oh,
si no,
so
estar en el
Look at
agua
the
siempre es
raptor.
muy tedioso.
Oh, but look at it swimming, it's so
Es
cute.
importante que haya algo para moverse rápido en el agua.
It
Si
does
no,
look
es que es
pretty
una mierda.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
let me jump
Got
on a
to
raptor
run out
too.
of breath.
What are some of the games you guys have played that have had awesome mounts and aquatic mounts?
For me, not so much the mounts, but when I'm playing WoW and I'm playing my druid, I really love my seal form. Just being able to run at full speed, jump in that water, and also
Yeah,
move
eso es
at
la
full
polla
speed
del
is
WoW.
just great.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
It's just cool to change form yourself too. It's really neat.
Without stopping, like that's my favorite part of it.
Yeah, like it automatically does it. It's neat.
What about you guys?
For me, it's less of mounts and stuff, but I don't know if you guys have played Sea of Thieves, but I really like their like water combat and the way that their ships work and
Mola
stuff like
cómo se
that.
mete en el agua, ¿eh? Para ser
The ocean
Para
depth
ser una
feels like a
pre-alfa
terrifying
está ya
place in that
bien
game.
encaminada.
There's some
como se mete
danger
en el
that
agua.
comes along with
Pero le
that.
faltan las animaciones del agua, de
Yeah, I think they've done a
andar
great
en el
job sort of
agua,
modeling
sonidos
that,
de
like,
salir en el y
real,
entrar del
authentic
agua. Le falta
ocean
mucho trabajo, le
experience.
falta mucho trabajo.
Yeah,
Pero
my
bueno, es un buen
experience in
comienzo, es un buen
MMOs
comienzo. Mira
with
como nada.
underwater combat and
Es
things
un buen
of that sort
comienzo
have
esto,
not
es un
been
buen
the
comienzo. Que estén
greatest.
estas animaciones ya tal.
Underwater
Yeah.
Buen comienzo.
combat
Pensad que este juego es dentro
is
de varios
never
años.
great, it feels like. I think there's a couple games that have done it okay, but I still think it's one of those things you
Cambia
gotta
el
really pay
título.
attention to and nail and spend a lot of time with.
Es que no sé ni qué cojones poner.
Because
Fumo
otherwise,
perros,
if you
es que
just
no sé qué
phone it in,
poner.
it just feels bad, man.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot of, in my opinion,
Viendo el
attempts at
Ashes,
water
toma por
combat and or
Que me
water
suda la polla el
content
título. Si total no va a
that
entrar ni
hasn't
Dios.
felt
Si los que
very
estáis aquí en
good,
mi stream sois los que ya me
traditionally in
conocéis.
MMORPGs.
O
But
sea que no va a entrar
I
ni mi
will
puta madre.
give credit
Así
where
que,
credit
who
is due.
cares?
Arcade, I felt,
Who the fuck
did have
cares?
a really
Estamos aquí los de
fun,
siempre. Ya estaría.
naval content, both from a raid boss perspective as well as the interaction of those ships.
Yeah, those ships are a lot of fun.
Yeah, the ships were a lot of fun for sure. Let me see. I think I have another. Oh, I wonder what the bear looks like in the water.
The brew bear. I was
where
thinking
are
he
you,
has
Steven?
seawader in his barrels.
I'm on one of these little islands over
No
here.
desconectéis, chicos.
Like I think we're all together, but we're not with you.
No
Yeah, we're
desconectéis.
all
Oh,
together
yeah,
without
where
you.
Steven
What
go?
happened?
Where did you go?
¡Está
I was dancing around thinking-
pescando!
Oh, I think I see him over
Dios,
there.
mi
Yes,
hombre
perfect.
pesca, chaval.
I just
¿Cuánta
caught a
gente,
fish.
cuánta
I'm
gente
guessing
va a
it's gonna be a
ver?
red
Es
snapper.
que,
We'll see.
mirad, a mí una de las
I can
mejores
feel
cosas...
this.
Me lo voy a silenciar, que me chupa la polla, Steven. ¡Steven! Te callas cuando yo hablo, ¿vale? Le voy a decir una cosa, y es que lo más guapo de este tipo de juegos son las comunidades que creemos. O sea, la comunidad que creemos en un MMO nuevo, en el que hay tanto roleplay, yo ya me estoy viendo un Representadores 2.0, de peña pescando todo el rato y haciendo el retrasado. Bueno, eso ya os digo yo. Lo que más mola es crear comunidad. ¡Hostias!
But she's
All
super
natural.
excited to get in the water. Yay!
¡Hostias!
Oh my gosh, I just see now what you're saying, like at a certain angle. Those eyelashes are massive.
Yeah, those eyelashes are huge. Let's see
Gotta
what she
keep all the
looks like.
bugs out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, question.
she's super
I know
tall.
that someone had asked this before, which was...
Hostia, ¿cuánto
will
puede andar la
different mounts
cabrona, eh?
have different speeds?
Yes.
Like, because this is like a pack mule, will it have a different speed and be slower?
So mounts traditionally will have stat groups and or speeds associated with their first baseline stat and then augmented based on their rarity from a drop status or from the profession of animal husbandry that players have available to them.
What kind of things will they be able
O sea,
to
las
control
pets
in
van a tener
regards
estadísticas
to,
propias.
animal husbandry and creating those mounts?
So
Qué
outside
movida.
of the visual differences that are going to be available, they will also have impact on the health, the types of
Los
skills,
diseñadores se fumaron algo antes
the
de
speed
diseñar los
that's
animales.
available, the damage mitigation. They'll have influence over.
Están malitos, tío. Están completamente malitos. La tortuga esta está completamente malita. Es una tortuga
I guess, from a combat perspective, they
radiactiva.
also have
Vamos.
influence over the traditional
Una,
stat groups, so
una
like,
tortuga que fuma porros.
their combat effectiveness, accuracies, the the level of damage that the skills can do, that kind of stuff. Let me see if I can find the bear. Hold on.
Don't worry, I'll just be here fishing.
You should have a bear poke.
Do I have a bear poke? I think I have a bear. Hold on, I have tortoise. I have
Es un
red
silbato,
leopard.
¿no? Lo que
Oh,
tiene.
bluebird.
Lo que tienes es un silbato para la pet. Para la pet, bueno.
Got
para
him.
la pet no, la montura.
Got him. Let's take him out. Oh, and he's swimming. Oh, he swims funny. He's like stretching. It's like, what do I do? Stick him underwater.
Aw.
Oh, that's great. I like his little swims.
Oh, that's so
It's like
cute.
he's trying to
Yeah,
climb through
that
the
is cute.
water.
I'm like, what do I do?
I need to get my beer.
¡Buah! Es que
Yeah, my rum is
esto,
getting
esto lo
tainted by the
implementaron
salt
también en el
water.
WoW, ¿eh? El WoW también hizo esto.
Oh,
En el
I
WoW al
kinda
principio te metías en el
fancy
agua y
like
se
it.
te desaparecía la montura, pero luego lo implementaron, no sé en qué
Let's try
expansión.
one more. I think
¿Este
I
juego
have,
qué va? ¿De monturas? Pues como el WoW. ¿No sois
There's
WoW players? Es que, no sé, ¿qué sorpresa es esa?
Let me see
Un
here.
juego que va de
Do you have
monturas.
our little
Fucking
otter
no,
boy?
tío. ¿A qué juego estáis jugando?
Which one?
Los que jugáis retail. Pero no, man.
Tidebreaker?
Yeah, the Tidebreaker.
The tiebreaker.
¿Qué sorpresa
I
es
was
esa?
on the tiebreaker, I thought.
As a Tide Snapper.
Yeah, Tide Snapper.
Claro, la
Tidebreaker
tortuga es
is the, like,
legendaria,
otter
¿no?
one.
I don't have the
I don't know if that
tiebreaker.
one's in here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in
Ah,
this
vale. Ah,
gun.
no, hay tipos de montura. O sea,
It
hay
might
tipos
be.
de rareza dentro de
I
las
can
pets.
try to give
O
myself
sea,
a tiebreaker. Hold
de las
on.
pets, de las monturas. O algo así, ¿no?
I feel nervous
O
now.
sea, hay osos que son normales y luego habrá osos raros. Joder.
That's
A lo
all.
mejor uno
Have we
negro
tested this before?
o uno tal, ¿sabes?
Oh, I don't know if we have. That's a very good
Hostias, qué
question.
grande
Yeah,
era
I
esa,
go
¿no?
around the
We're
corner.
gonna, oh yeah, go around the corner.
Just gonna hide. If we see like a giant
Nos van a enseñar
tide
todo el
snapper
zoo,
from
eso digo
behind,
yo,
like,
tío.
cliff.
A mí lo que más me importa, chicos, es
Alright,
el
I am
combate.
going to.
Dragon.
I'm gonna
Porque
attempt
estaba
to summon
Trying
muy
to make
the
my
tosco
dragon
tiebreaker.
swim.
el otro día. Muy tosco.
Does it
Mira,
swim?
mira,
Oh
mira.
my gosh, it does
I'm
swim.
gonna
The dragon does
Here
swim.
we go.
Oh,
Trying
look
to
at it.
swimming.
Look at it.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yes.
pretty.
Swim with it. Swim.
The wings are
Wow.
a little weird. I don't think they're done yet.
Buah,
but-
tener un dragón de estos, cuidado, Cuidado.
that's pretty
¿Para
cool.
quién va a
Alright,
ser el dragón de
like,
representadores?
oh my
Supongo
gosh,
que será para mí.
I know.
Para el G, pero voy a ser mucho más
But in
tirano,
regards to mounts,
En
and
representación.
flying
Mucho más
mounts,
tirano y todo el lot para mí.
will-
Todo para mí. Asqueroso.
Are you
joder.
expecting them to
¿Para
be
qué le
able to swim
dejo
at the same
el
pace as
escarablón a la
like
peña? ¿Para
other
qué?
creatures in
A
the
la
water?
mierda, todo para mí.
So
hostias.
no,
El
so
dragón,
aquatic
que es
creatures in the
mío.
water will
Come a
have the
polla,
absolute
hombre.
best
Asqueroso, soy
speed
tirano,
and
sí, soy el
performance
peor.
and water
Hijo de puta,
specific
sí, eso
skills.
soy.
I see Jeff's over here.
Yeah, we're creeping on him. It's like he's got to go pee, so he's like hiding behind the rock.
Hang on.
I have a tide snapper and I have tide snapper. I tried to give myself the tide breaker, and that did not happen.
That's okay.
Yeah, so that's not available.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I mean,
Ooh,
just
not
to,
letting me.
to give you, yeah, go for fish. There's I mean, guys, just to give you again an idea, you know, Ashes has a lot of obviously complex systems, but they're all intended to provide the players interaction points, basically agency over, you know, how your world exists around you, and that includes the types of animals that you can have as pets and or mounts through the profession of animal husbandry and the acquisition of these things, and they're diverse. They're not just, you know, monolithic mounts. There are specific mounts for specific areas, like the aquatic mounts or the land mounts or the flying and gliding mounts. These are all obviously very important. Oh
Wow.
my god. Did you just dive into the water with a
I
griffin?
think she did.
I did.
Oh
Hey
my
Toast,
god.
have you seen any like other questions about
Dios,
mounts
es que el
specifically
glifo
that you
este
think
me
maybe,
parece la puta
Stephen could
polla, la
answer,
verdad.
or Jack could?
yeah.
O sea, ese glifo cuando esté
I'll have to think
definido el
about that
juego,
one.
ya esté
I
acabado,
think the one
ese
you asked
glifo va a
earlier
ser
about the different
Jesucristo,
speeds
vamos.
was a big one.
O sea,
Yeah, I've
wow,
definitely
me
seen
parece
that
Dios
cast a
el
few
glifo,
times.
vamos. Negro y azul, o sea, es que es
And
perfecto.
then
Yeah.
of course,
Colores
people want more details on the abilities and how they can modify them through animal husbandry.
Yeah,
But I don't know if we're
absolutely.
ready to go into all the details on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be kind of developed on that side before we can give like super great answers on that.
And tested, absolutely.
Ooh, what about mounts that can have multiple people on them?
The group mounts, absolutely. So
qué
that was a part of
movida de
our, I think a
bicho.
part of our Kickstarter
Parecen
stretch
patas
goals
de
was the group
pollo,
mount.
tío.
And the cool thing about the group mounts is they're
¿Qué
going to have specific
cojones? Parece
functionality
un
that relates
alien,
to multiple
tío.
people, obviously.
Parece un puto
and
alien
they're
este
also
bicho,
going to provide some pretty cool benefits, I think,
Pues que en
that
este
will
juego
make them
volar
stand out
tiene que ser
from traditional
muchísimo valor,
single-player
la verdad.
mounts.
Dios, ¿visteis la roja
and
de ahí
kind of
abajo?
functions that the riders have available to them while they're riding
Me estoy
based
haciendo
off of certain
fanático de las
skills.
monturas, no sé si
So
volver a
like
retail.
normal mounts, single-player mounts will have specific
La
skills that you
verdad.
level up that pertain to you as the rider, whereas the group mounts will have specific skills that can only be utilized by characters who are currently in the seat of a passenger position. So there'll be unique passenger positions that have correlating skills. Let me see if I can dive down. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, I'm swimming on this guy too. He's just like, I want some fish. Feed me.
Now I want to like create a serpent, like a big serpent creature.
Puedes salir volando de ahí,
Water
supongo que sí, ¿no?
serpent?
Yeah, like a big water
Ooh.
serpent.
A Leviathan.
Yeah, Leviathan.
That was funny,
Yes.
Jeff. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. You guys have anything else you want to chat about with the mounts and whatnot?
I guess we do get a lot of questions in regards to like cosmetics and how people can apply those to different mounts and like which ones apply to which.
Ah, creo que le puedes meter
Yeah,
también
absolutely.
cosméticos
So,
a
as
las
you guys know,
monturas.
we do
O sea,
absolutely
rollos.
zero pay to win
Meterle
whatsoever.
armaduras
We'll
o
never
meterle
have
tal,
pay to
¿sabes?
win
Las
in
puedes
Asset Creation.
caracterizar.
However,
No es
with that
tal
being
cual.
said, when you have a cosmetic skin that applies to certain mounts, you must achieve that base mount first in the game. So we're not actually, selling power or anything like that, or you're not achieving, essentially these cosmetics to replace the in-game achievement. Now, the cosmetics themselves will be applied to specific types of mounts. Remember, there's 3 tiers of land mounts, there's aquatic mounts, and cosmetics will apply based off of those tiers. So if it's a flying base kind of cosmetic that's capable of being on a gliding mount, you can apply that flying skin to that tier 2 mount. If it's kind of a horse related one here, let me see if I have another horse one. Oh, here we go. So we have this horse. This could be applied to tier 1 mounts, which you can get pretty early on in the game. Now, let me see if I have a... I think I have a Midnight Mare. Do I?
I hope so.
I do. There we go.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. Oh, Toast has one too.
I do.
LaPerza, where's yours?
I didn't buy one.
Unbelievable.
Not
I
buying
know.
every mount in the shop, rookie.
Well, what more do I need other than my turtle?
O sea, hay monturas también
need every
normales, más
mount, come
normales
on.
y tal.
Be
Pero
a
supongo que
true
las que
collector.
molan son las extravagantes. Joder, o sea, estás jugando un puto juego de fantasía.
Yeah, so
no
we
voy
just
con
wanted
un
to jump
caballo
in,
ni que me
guys,
paguen,
give you
vamos.
another little development
una
update,
de estas, una
showcase some of
lagartija de esas y
the
a tomar por
aquatic
culo.
mounts and the mounts in
Un
general,
caballo ni de coña, le das.
and let you know that we are hard at work in
Antes voy con la puta tortuga
continuing
esa, tío, que es la
development towards
polla.
Alpha 1,
Yeah.
and we're excited to get you guys in. So, with that being said, we will see you back on the stream, and hope you guys are having an awesome end of your September. Oh, we're
I
in
can't
fall, by the
believe
way.
it's
We're
the
in fall.
end of September already.
I know.
Yeah. It's nuts.
All right, guys. Have an awesome day. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Like in
Bye.
like 2 seconds.
Yeah, bye and hello. All right.
Muy bien,
With
chicos.
that, we hope that you enjoyed a little bit of content about mounts. I know we preempted that it was going to be about mounts, so hopefully people were prepared for that. But there was some conversation. I hope that we answered quite a few questions that you guys had throughout the stream in regards to the mounts specifically. And like I said, this is going to be a long stream. We got a lot more content to show you all. But in regards to the underwater viewing, people were having questions about underwater visibility and what that's going to look like. And I'll have a further question after that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So there's a few things to know about the underwater visibility. Obviously, this is a very first pass approach on the ocean, both shader and the post-processing effects that occur when your camera moves under that shader. There are volumes that exist, and the post-processing is essentially adding like a distance fog, out in the water. It's adding a little bit of a blur effect. Those things are going to be revised and perfected as we move forward, just like all the art, as you've seen, over the past couple of years in progress we've shown. They'll get much better. So this is kind of the first stab at it. Brian Gans and Tristan Snodgrass, they did a great job with the initial implementation of this water shader and the ocean shader itself. But it'll have a lot more work done to it.
subtítulos.
Yeah, and then the next question is obviously, will there be
verlo así.
underwater combat or mounted combat? And I think we've kind of answered some
Pero
of this
vamos,
question
comentando lo que he
before, but
comentado yo antes.
I know there's a lot of new people in the
Evidentemente todo esto es
community, so if you don't
una
mind
pre-alfa y
reiterating.
que los sonidos del subido de
Absolutely,
bajas de
yeah.
agua,
So there is
etcétera,
underwater
eso tiene que cambiar
combat.
todo, tiene que
There
modificarse.
is naval combat with regards to ships. This is obviously a very important part of the of the ocean content that's out there. There's raid bosses, there's dungeons, there's
caravans.
Exactly. Trade ships, essentially, as you move goods throughout the world. All of this stuff is going to have not just a player versus environment type combat setting, but also player versus player. So it's important that it feels good and fluid. Obviously, a lot of MMOs have tried to get combat right in underwater environments, and as many of us as MMO players know, not a lot have hit the mark. So it's a tall order, one that we're going to be spending a lot of time on trying to get right to feel good. But you know, it's being done early on in development, and hopefully we come up with something that's going to feel pretty good.
And just so, just to reiterate, I know a lot of people in chat were saying they really enjoyed Guild Wars 2 and ArcAge. I saw some EverQuest folks in there as well. I know Jeff and I have worked on the EverQuest franchise before. I think it's just very interesting to see like what other people think and like what you guys like too. So if we were watching the chat, we enjoy hearing it. And of course, you can always join us over on our forums, over on ashesofcreation.com/forums. So you can, so you can go check it out over there and give us your feedback. We always love reading that. Toast does a great job of putting together reports. So thank you. The next question I have here is also if people will be able to craft/make items that allow them to see better underwater.
Probably not see better underwater. You will obviously have items that you can create, craft, and or that drop that will improve mobility in water, potentially speed in water. There could be buffs for underwater breath. There, you know, a lot of mechanics there, but I don't know that we'll probably touch the visibility component of it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the blurriness you saw is just a factor of kind of where do we want to go with it. We're still playing with it. We're trying to figure it out. But I think that visibility is going to be a thing that we want people to have like an even Steven kind of experience with, right? That people aren't necessarily going to be able to see farther than other people based on what their equipment is.
Cool. All right, should we move on to environment? We have a lot of other stuff. So moving on to the wonderful environment team. They have a lot of stuff for us today. The first thing I'm going to show you are some concepts and then the actual models. So I'll go through these pretty quickly. But we are showing off a lot of the housing stuff as well as node leveling up and what you're going to see in those node houses and things like that. So Stephen, if you guys want to talk about that while I kind of cycle through all of these, that would be great.
Absolutely. So you see here a bunk bed. As you know, there are family systems. For two dwarves, exactly. There is a family system in place, and furniture is an important part of the housing system. Furnitures will offer certain in-game benefits, such as this bed will have a rested experience benefit. However, cool, fun little thing there with that bunk bed is if you have another family member in the bunk bed with you while you sleep together, you get a boosted benefit from the buff.
Hey! So, what? I didn't know this.
I know. And the same thing's true for the king-size bed. If you are married in-game and your spouse is sleeping with you in that bed, you get a different type of benefit. Right?
Just like turning all red.
What? I'm just saying that there's, you know, there's a different type of animal husbandry going on there. So,
oh no, why?
Qué bueno, me gusta. Este juego me empieza a gustar más.
What's our ESRB rating?
Ya que no follo en la vida real, por lo menos fornico en el juego.
Just cuddling. Just cuddling.
As long as we don't display the, you know, like the Sims vibes, like you can see it, I think we're okay.
Yeah. Those pillows look really comfy, though, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Dwarves make the best pillows.
We got a bookshelf here. And then this is the in-game versus.
Some bookshelves. These are great. I think this is Adam Will that did the bookcases and maybe the furniture as well.
Y arquitecturas distintas,
I believe I'd have to look
dependiendo
at
de la raza.
Okay. But they did,
Las razas tienen un impacto muy grande en el juego y dependiendo de la cantidad de una raza que haya en una zona,
the type of visual aesthetic you would expect from a near traditional dwarven type of furniture.
Now when I see the single bed, I'm sad for them.
Well,
no buffs for you.
No buffs for you.
De las casas, de los
Well, you
muebles,
get
it's
rest.
just less.
You get rest
edificios
experience.
serán
Yeah, they don't have the potential to create children, right? And the children is part of the orphanage system. that.
Steven, not stop with the orphanage.
Then when a node gets sieged,
When a
Escucha
node
abajo,
gets
ya,
sieged
porque
and the
te
house
vayas
is
your house is
destroyed,
destroyed.
your child that you created via the bed actually gets put into an orphanage. No, I'm
He
just-
said this a million times. Like, he's really trying to sell Jeff and I were like, no, this is bad. Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
god. Oh, my heart.
Are you?
Se me escucha muy bajo, sí, chicos. A ver,
I'm
les
just
bajo,
messing,
les
I'm
bajo un
sorry.
poquito a ellos
I know
más,
you're
¿vale?
just messing.
Pero es que varios de ellos hablan
So
bajito,
yeah, lots
entonces...
of cool items. There's so many more items being created, and obviously this is
Así
like,
lo oís
you
bien,
know,
todo.
Dwarven sets. There's a lot of all the different races that you're going to see.
Vale, a ver
but
si
we
me
just kind of
escucháis
really
ahora
wanted
mejor
to show
con
you
ellos.
guys some of this stuff. You've also seen some concept art of some of these, but now you're seeing the models from our previous episodes of our development updates. So if you've been
Yeah.
following along with our journey for a long time, you've gotten to see all of it. Maybe we could do like a montage whenever we launch of like the
I
journey.
really hope so.
That'd be really cool. I think I would really like that.
Absolutely.
Next up, some amazing concept art.
Ahora os agradezco las suscripciones, muchas
that is
gracias,
just
chicos.
Oh, yeah.
Perdonad por no
chef's
querer
kiss.
cortar la intro.
So if you want to
Luego
talk
las
a little bit
agradezco, gracias.
about kind of what we're going for and all these different pieces, I'll walk through them.
Yeah. So as you guys saw in the video, obviously
Buah,
we're
esto
in
está
a little bit of a
guapísimo,
tropical
¿no?
environment, but
Pero
part
esto es una
of
imagen,
the,
¿verdad? Esto no es el
Alpha
juego,
1,
¿verdad?
presentation at the end of this year is going to largely be in a tropical bay type area of the map. So, you know, these concept images that I believe these were done by Ryan Richmond,
¡Dios!
they provide the environment artists kind of sample biomes that they can target
¡Dios!
both
Es
the
como
creation of
fumar
foliage
perros,
and
increíble,
these
chaval.
trees, the layout of you know, different bayous that might exist or inlets. That really kind of create I think, a compelling atmosphere for this kind of tropical shore beach environment, and it's a lot of fun. I think really just to explore. But here you get to see kind of
Buah,
the
esto es
early
un
concepts, and then
desfase.
as we move into Alpha 1, you'll start to see the representation in the actual game world.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that first screenshot of
Oh, yeah, I can go
the
back.
first concept
Yeah, I
piece.
can go back.
I thought that was an in-game shot. That's kind of
It
what
looks
the
like
world
that
is really
in-game if you-
looking at like right now.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
have fooled me based on what we're seeing in the game. So so kudos to everybody.
Es que
like,
este es
it's coming
el
together
rollo
really-
de hacer algo realista. O sea, el nivel de ambición que te puede dar World of Warcraft es alto, pero el nivel de ambición que te da esto es 100.000 veces más. Es que es simple. Poder ver un escenario así no tiene nada que ver con ver Barrens. Ver Barrens es Dios y me encanta, pero esto... Cuidado.
Map had this kind of rock formation that you know, was similar here, and I thought that presented a really
Esto es un
fun
desfase, vamos.
environment for
Es una ilustración,
PvP
sí,
with
pero es
these
una
ships,
ilustración de hacia dónde van.
and you know, that's one of the
O sea, pero
the
sí, evidentemente
components
es una
of this
ilustración.
environment that's going to be incorporated, having those types of rock formations. It's also a high fantasy type of, you know, look too.
A lot of cool vertical space that we can use as designers to kind of change things up and make things feel really cool and different. You know, when you're a ship and you're coming into port, right, you got to kind of watch out what's on top of those rocks and make sure that you're safe and that nobody's going to drop in on you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So mad props to our environment team who has been just pumping out some amazing content, whether that be like the little tiny pieces that you're seeing in the houses and in the structures and in the buildings themselves, and then obviously getting the feel and concept down of the spaces, and then being able to create those spaces that you're going to be experiencing. It's been very cool to see that come to fruition. So as we, you know, showcase more of it, you guys actually
Tened en
saw
cuenta que
parts
los
of
entornos
this area too
cambian
in that video. If you go back to the mounts
constantemente,
video, so
dependiendo de quién los
definitely go
domine.
look at it, and you'll maybe scout
sea,
out
aquí
where it is in the space there.
Puede,
I'm
esta
going to move
zona
on
puede
to our
congelarse
character
o
stuff
puede,
because we still have a lot
no
more
sé,
content to go through, and we
quemarse
have some Q&A
o
as
tal,
well.
¿sabes? O sea,
So on
es
to
una movida el juego.
character. Now, Steven did do a little sneak peeky of our beautiful Ram Strider here, but ooh, this is such a beautiful piece. Jinsey is one of our artists, and she does that all. She does it from like like not even concept, but like just creating it out of her crazy mind, which I love. Her
Muy
beautiful
bonito,
crazy
¿eh?
mind.
Es como el de...
And then all the way to like
como la de los
animating the
enanos,
piece
¿eh?
and getting it
Es como la de
in
los
that regard.
enanos.
So it is
Es
just
Lander, ¿eh?
amazing
Es Lander,
to,
es verdad.
see
Es
it.
Lander. El
So
cabezón.
I don't know if you want to talk a little about this little bad boy, but I'll show off the different angles of it.
The Ram Strider is
Dios, intimida,
pinned mount effectively.
Cuidado.
These guys are things that you're going to find in the wild, also raised by people who raise such animals, and they're going to be a fun, cool-looking mount for folks.
Yeah, whenever I see that guy.
Steven.
That's what I think of him whenever I see him.
That's what you were doing. I was wondering what you were doing on your phone. I was like,
Qué tonto es el Steven,
big mouth.
Es que me representa mucho. Steven me representa mucho, tío. Me representa mucho, tío. Me representa.
Dincy does a great job, obviously, with these mounts, and you know, this is just kind of another example of really the vast array of possibilities that come with the mount systems. I mean, mounts are such a cherished and beloved aspect of MMORPGs, at least everyone I've ever played.
Se le ve muy
And
feliz,
it's really
tío,
cool to have
haciendo
a
esto.
very in-depth
Se le ve muy
system, I think,
ilusionado.
to
Esto no es
facilitate
lo mismo que ver a
complex
Ion
and
Happy
unique
Troll Park.
aspects
¿Verdad?
to what players can
Es otro rollo,
acquire,
tío.
to what they
Es
can
otro rollo.
collect, and that's obviously a huge portion of what many of us as players drive for in MMOs.
And we also just want to make sure that, you know, this feels like a fantasy world. This doesn't feel like Earth. That there's some things that are familiar, but then there's other things that just are out of this world. And that's kind of where we get to play a lot in fantasy worlds. And
Sí,
we wanna
eso
make
me
sure
parece
that we
bien.
don't kind of
O
fall
sea,
into these sort of
el tío está diciendo que
kind of traditional expectations. We want
hay
to
que
be able
darle
to
ese toque
change it up
fantástico,
every
¿no?
once
Que
in
se
a while,
note
and
que
this is
no
one of those
es
places.
que no están,
Yeah.
no
If you
están,
just had
están
like a
intentando recrear la
full-body,
realidad, pero en un mundo
like
fantástico.
pillow plush
O
of
sea,
this
son
creature
imágenes
that just was like in your bed with you, that would be
realistas,
just
I don't know about
pero-
the horns,
Would you get a
though.
buff?
pero es
Yeah,
un
I
mundo
don't know.
fantástico.
No, I
¿sabes?
was talking about in real life, Jeff. I don't know if you get it. Yeah.
But
Eso
I
a
do
mí
think
también
that
me
this is
gusta.
amazing. And
Que es
obviously,
importante
you know, we have a
mantenerlo.
lot of mounts that we've been showing off, and we'll have many more that are attainable in game too. So don't worry about that. So with that, we also have saddles that we have created, and these are other pieces that you can put on your mounts. So I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
kind of talk a little bit about that. Obviously, this is one of the pieces that some of you have probably seen before, but there's going to be many other mount.
Vale, estos son típicos detalles que están bien, pero que bueno,
Yeah,
tampoco son tan importantes.
mount equipment is obviously very important, as is battle gear for pets. You know,
Ah,
these
bueno, claro,
are,
porque si son
gear
para
chases
batallas,
for your
claro, es que
pets,
si
and
la
your
pet
pets
tiene
are an
habilidades,
extension of you, really.
gana más
So,
importancia.
you know, being able to kit them out with good gear is something that players strive to attain. And this is an example of kind of how those gears are partitioned on the mount itself. This is obviously a saddle that, in my opinion, looks very good, and I would love to have that on my horse.
It's
Yeah.
Bayloon style, right?
So there are questions in regards to
Yeah, I think so.
saddles and if saddles will provide any extra benefit to people. Obviously, I think
Yeah.
this is a cosmetic one, so this would not give you a benefit. It would just be a cosmetic you would put over the saddle that you currently have.
Right. So you would have to attain the saddle item itself, and then you can apply the cosmetic to that item. So again, you know, we don't actually
Sell
provide
power.
through the cosmetic power, right? Exactly. Now, all gear has stat modifiers, so they adjust the
Este se
stat
lo
of
irá un
the
poco
mount
bajo.
and or pet. And then additionally, some gear, based on its rarity, will add additional effects. That could be a base increase of speed for a particular piece of set, or could be damage mitigation for the saddle and or body armor. You know, those types of things.
Las piezas de equipo van a tener características que van a
This is
hacerte
fine.
más
Look
fuerte.
at my horse. My horse
Como por
is
ejemplo darte
amazing.
más velocidad, darte más resistencia, armadura,
Cool. Yeah.
lo que
I
sea.
think that answers that.
Bien, me parece bien, me
I don't
parece
know
una
if there's any other
característica
one that I saw in
interesante.
chat. But moving on from
Pero se
there,
les
we're
va
gonna
la
move
olla,
into
¿eh?
some armor
Son
pieces.
demasiadas cosas.
And I know, Jeff, you
las que
kind of want
quieren
to
hacer.
talk a little bit about armor on males versus females.
Con
as
lo simple que es
well.
una
As
montura
you
en el
saw
WoW,
in the map
voladora
video,
o no
you
voladora,
could see
punto.
that
La
Violet
montura tal y
Light
como la
and
ves
Jeffrey
aquí.
were both wearing the same armor, but
Características,
there was, like, a
estamina,
little bit of differences
habilidades
between
o
their armor as well.
equipamiento en una
Yeah, so I just
puta
wanted to point
montura.
out, like, if you
Se
take a
les
look
va
at
la
that
olla,
view
están fumando
again,
perritos.
Violet Light and
Están
myself
fumando
are wearing
perritos. El
exactly
nivel de
the
ambición
same
es
armor
tan
set, right?
grande
Same stats, same
que es en
everything.
plan, joder, hay
But
tantas,
it
¿cuántas
drops
cosas
for
vas a
her,
tener
it
que
looks
hacer en
one
este
way,
juego?
it drops for me, it looks another way, and a big
¿Qué
part of that
cuántas?
is a small part of
Es de
that is
locos.
gender, but then the other part of it is race. So
Como en el
because
BDO.
I was a Valoon in that playthrough, my armor was in the Valoon style. And when she picked it up, it was in the elven style because she was an elf. So that kind of gives you an example of sort of the breadth of looks that we're going for and how we kind of try to capture like who you are as
Lleva
a
más cimitarras
character,
encima que el manolete,
and
pues
kind of
así
allow
va,
you
así va de
to
lado.
kind of build your look that way. So
Right.
El mundo estará más vivo, por supuesto. Es una de las características fundamentales.
The inspiration for that particular approach came from my experiences with
Importantísimo que haya cosas
Lineage
que
2. I
hacer
really
siempre.
enjoyed how they kind of had subtle differences between different races and genders wearing the same thematic set. And you would see, obviously, a crossover with the theme, whether that be, the materials and or textures and the color palettes, like that would maintain across races and genders. But there would be essentially a different representation of that armor. So that's a similar approach that we're taking with regards to the armor sets in Ashes of Creation. It's that you're going to have one set that can be traded, can be sold, can be crafted, and then as that set is equipped by different races and or genders, it's going to have subtle differences between them.
It's always exciting for
qué
me
paranoia.
when I hear you talk about games.
O sea que
that
los
I've done
sets
too, and I'm like, "Aw,
van a tener
thanks."
bonus distintos en función de
It's exciting
quién
anyway, no matter
los
who's
lleve.
talking about it, but it's to me
Sí,
whenever
en
it's
función de la
Steven,
raza
I'm
del
like,
que los
"Aw."
lleve.
So this is the
Orcos,
Dwarven set that we
elfos,
have,
lo que haya en
and
este puto
it's
juego.
very cool looking. I think Steven also
Otra
might have
paranoia
leaked
más.
this to some
Otra
folks
más.
on the Discord as well.
Otra
Not
vez
sure
se
if
han
it's
fumado otro
everybody, but,
porro. Bueno,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
I have bruises from last week.
No, stop it.
There are places you can't see.
Another
though.
thing that was leaked. So we have the Empyrean cloth armor that you can see here. The
Cloth
back and the
armor.
front. So I'll kind of go through that again.
Yeah, and this kind of gives you also an understanding of some capes. I know that some people saw a little bit of a representation of capes
Buah,
in
pero está
Apocalypse,
muy bien
but
hecha la
here you
capa
can
esa,
see
mucha
kind of
rugosidad.
the diversity that we're going to have among the capes. You're going to have one shoulder capes, you're going to have full body capes, you're going to have cloaks and whatnot, and these are all kind of encompassing the back slot item. You can also choose, even if you have it equipped, because they will have stats, you can choose not to have them visible if you wish to have a different back slot kind of presented, whether that be a shield or a weapon. That's going to be something left to the players.
All right, and then moving into like this is the
Hostia, está
female
calva la
one, I
pobre.
believe. You can kind of see
Dios, está malita, ¿eh?
the textures.
¿Qué le pasa?
Yeah.
Está
And
mala
then
de la
I'll show
calvicie,
you all
joder.
The male version
Te compadezco.
here. And they're in a T-pose because that's like.
Oh,
the-
we need to tighten up that waist a little bit. That's a big costume. I haven't had an opportunity to review these, but these look good. I love them.
Yeah, they're all work in progress.
Oye,
and,
muchas gracias a todos
they
por las
did send
suscripciones,
everything
luego
to
os las
me as work in
agradezco,
progress,
ya
so
lo
keep
sabéis.
in mind,
Nice.
this is a
Gracias por darme
development
dinero
update stream. This is all
constantemente
work in
y
progress.
cada vez
None of
hacerme
this is
más
final.
rico aún.
As
Gracias,
we've
chicos,
said
lo agradezco
a
mucho
couple
de
times
corazón.
already
O sea,
throughout the stream, even
tengo,
when we were
ya
in the-
no me
in the
cabe
last video
todo
as
el dinero que me dais en
well.
casa.
And then
O
with
sea,
that,
a ver si
here's
paráis
another
algún momento, por
render.
favor.
This is Veyloon instead of Empyrean, whereas the other one was Empyrean. So we showed you Empyrean and Veyloon now. And
Yeah, I love this.
yeah, I love the like gold like panel plating. It's very interesting. And then we've got some Kalar faces. This is the male work in progress faces that are being worked on. Obviously,
¿Se
these
servía
are
para cuando el
work in
release
progress.
date? No.
But you've seen, I think there's been a lot of commentary
Pero la
about like,
alfa
our models, and I
1
know that they're
sale este
working
año.
through
La
all the
alfa
models
1.
and kind of giving them all
Pero esa creo que no se puede
updates. I don't know
streamear.
if you want to talk a little
Luego
bit
la
about
alfa
that,
2, que es
Steven.
la que
Yeah,
tengo yo,
absolutely. I mean, it's
para 2021.
as you're creating the game the size of Ashes of Creation. An MMORPG in and of itself is
No se sabe
is
cuándo.
one of the largest
Dijeron
projects
que
you
en
could do in
principio
game.
este año intentarían
But
tener un
Ashes
alfa
of
1.
Creation, I think, takes it to the next level
único
because
que
we
sabemos.
have a lot of ambition in our systems and features that we want to provide the
Pero
players.
sí, el juego está muy verde.
So,
El juego
here
está
you're
muy verde.
seeing as we continue development, these base models for the different races will continue to get refined further. And as we eventually get to the character creator stage, where you're going to see a lot of customization and flexibility in the deformations that are available, both from a character facial perspective as well as the overall body perspective, our goal is to aim for the stars in what is possible on the character creator front. And that requires a lot of custom work on essentially setting the parameters.
Tengo que decir que World of Warcraft en esta expansión, en Shadowlands, han aumentado mucho la caracterización de personaje. Y menos mal, porque menuda chusta. Llevaban desde Classic con la misma, tío. Prácticamente desde Classic. O sea, hicieron alguna actualización por Kata y por tal, pero... Y ahora por fin le han metido bastantes cosas a Shadowlands y eso está bien, la verdad. Menos mal, macho.
Like the bald Asmongold look.
Yeah. People are like, we like the bald. Everyone in chat, I saw that quite a few times.
Is Asmongold that bald? I don't think so.
¿Qué tipo de humano eres?
Quería ver el chat
You guys are
solo.
funny.
Solo quería ver el
I
chat.
think we're gonna swap into our Q&A segment. I tried to get through all
Hostia,
of the
no,
content really
tío.
quickly because I
Y
know
ese
that we
giro.
have a long video in there. So hopefully you guys enjoy the development update as far as that goes.
Hostia,
We're
qué
gonna get some of our
grande, tío.
questions from
Otra
the
vez,
forums.
otra vez, tío.
So first and foremost, it's
Otra
going
vez.
to be our one from Unknown One. First and foremost, it's going to be our one from Unknown One on the forums, which asks,
Got him,
when
coach.
someone
Grande, grande, grande. Mi puto padre, Asmongold, el mejor streamer del mundo.
after death.
Sin duda, lo es. Lo era Tyler Wack.
Nothing would prevent
Hasta ahora
that.
para mí,
If
pero
they are
Asmongold, uf.
capable of
Mazo bueno, tío.
successfully hiding away from the bounty hunters that can locate them on a map, and they are capable of being killed, then yes, that is a way potentially that you could manage to remove corruption. However, there is significant risk with that, obviously, and there's significant downfalls with the death penalties that get applied to a corrupt character. So they're not subverting the penalty per se. They are mitigating the risk on the drop of particular gear. But essentially, the bounty hunter system, because the bounty hunters have the ability to locate corrupt players on the map, that severely kind of impacts the ability for people to move to a safe area with their friends and attempt to avoid the loss of gear. But again, they're still going to suffer those death penalties, and they're still going to have the risk of bounty hunters and even other players locating them and killing them.
Eso es de la gente que haga
Our next question
PvP a
here
gente que
is
no quiere hacer
from
PvP.
Shako, and-
Se convertirán en
also, I guess there's two
asesinos
people who
o
had this
tal,
question, and CF,
y entonces los
CF,
cazadores de tesoros, los
Sorry
bounty
if I
hunters,
pronounced
irán
your
a por
names
ellos.
wrong,
Que son
which
gente que se
asks,
dedicará a cazar
have you
a hijos
decided
de
whether
puta.
the World
Serán
of
como
Bear
pues
will be
la...
plain
Yo qué
or
coño sé.
spear?
Serán
Able
como,
to be
como
circum-
la
like
CIA.
circumnavigated,
El
which I
FBI.
think we've had this- I feel like we've had this question maybe before.
Yeah, we have.
But
The
maybe
answer
worded
is
It's a good
differently.
question.
yeah, there will not be world wrapping in Ashes of Creation.
World Rapping.
Yep.
Yo,
And then
¿Qué
with
quieres?
that,
World
our next
Rapping.
question
¿Qué es eso?
Will swimming have
Porque aquí
limiters
se te
like
puede caer
stamina
equipo,
to
¿eh?
prevent
No sé si
people
lo
from
sabíais.
swimming all
Aquí se
over
te
the
puede caer
place? And
equipo.
this is from Mr. Tea Time.
Si te portas mal
There
y
will not
haces
be
PvP a
steep
gente que no
water
quiere hacer
swimming,
PvP, llega un
probably,
punto en
like
el que
that.
si te
Well,
matan
there's
se te puede
breath,
caer
right?
el
But I
staff.
think he's maybe referring
O
to
se te
like,
puede caer el tal.
the
Y eso es una
ability just to
vendida, tú
swim out in
imagínate.
the open
Que,
water on the
que en el
surface.
WoW se
And
te cae una
there's
pieza del
not a
tier 2.
limitation from
O se te
a,
cae un
from a
arma.
stamina perspective. There is
Ya, o
that
se
on
te cae
breath,
la
obviously.
chromatically tempered.
Oh, and I guess
Eso
that
se
question
lía,
has been answered. The
Ahí se
navigation
lía,
one
de
was answered
cojones.
on in PI, but not publicly.
Got
So
it.
I'm used to hearing the answer, I guess. Our next question is from Bricktop, who wants to know, will there be a hard cap on the number of players that an AoE spell can hit in PvP?
Buah, es que si se
Or
te
is it
cae la
just kind of
CF.
like in the
buah.
conal space or in the circular space, depending on the
Es
ability?
desde el primer PK que
So,
hagas.
we have not come to a conclusion on that yet.
Está
We're
bien, a
leaning
mí me parece
towards
bien que haya
no.
castigos a los
But that
retrasados,
is
es
going to
normal.
require
O sea, me
additional
parece bien,
testing.
vamos.
And I know other games that have done that, and this kind of damage AoE mitigation or diminishing returns. And while I believe diminishing returns are appropriate from a CC perspective, I don't believe limiting the number of contacts made for AoE skills is something that feels good as a player.
Yeah, it also kind of changes the way that large scale PvP ends up playing out. Where the AoE becomes kind of limited and doesn't serve as the counterplay against certain types of strategies that it should. So that's kind of, we're still talking about it. There's still decisions to be made there, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And a Waste wants to know, will players be able to party duel in addition to 1v1 duel? Like
Yeah, I
some
don't see why
group versus
not.
group.
I like the idea of having group versus group. It's essentially just extending that flag out to the active party members. There would be some complication, no, not complication, but there would be some additional logic necessary if the player were to drop a party per se in the middle of a duel. But I don't see that as being too difficult. So it's something that's on our radar. Yes.
Interesting.
No he
Yeah,
entendido
that-
esta
that is
pregunta.
a
¿Alguien me la
thing
puede
that somebody might try to,
decir?
like,
¿Qué es lo que dijo?
scam.
No me he
So
enterado
you
muy
have to
bien.
find a way around it. But that's cool. I think
O
he's
sea,
trying to like put down a flag.
No me he
and, like,
enterado bien
just
de lo que ha
battle it
dicho.
out.
¿Qué es lo que ha dicho?
Our next question from Jalan is, If your
Oh,
node
vale,
is at
duelos de
war
party
with a
contra
node
party
your
de...
guildmate lives in,
Oh.
does that stop you
Vale, no
from
lo había
being
entendido.
able
Es que
to
estaba
party
diciendo,
with
si
your
en una party se
guildmates,
echan un duelo
raid,
entre ellos
and
o algo así,
defend
no
your
lo entendí bien.
castle if the
Vale,
defensive
vale, vale.
siege happens during the same period as the node war is happening?
So it won't prevent you from being able to party, and it won't prevent you from participating in co-events that are present. So if the guild affiliation, if the desire of the player is to participate in events, they can still do so, but they'll have to be cognizant of the fact that they're flagged for war with each other.
And Zanmara.
And by the way, that is subject to testing and change. There are some complications. Obviously, the affiliation tier, the affiliation structure is complicated because there's so many what we call pseudo factions. Essentially, being a non-faction based game is, in my opinion, great. But you need to provide the opportunity for two things: one, for pseudo factions to form, and two, for soft friction to occur between those pseudo factions, right? And that's what compels players to engage in these types of decisions of friend or foe,
yeah.
right, and that can help to instigate conflicts, but because of that complexity in the affiliation system, there are going to be some oddities that form between different affiliations that you may have and how they can be at odds with one another. It's kind of the philosophy of the friend of, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of a theory, right? So we have to play with that from a testing standpoint, and that is subject to change, but it is something that is obviously at the forefront of our minds when it comes to that component.
And I would like to preface that all of the content that we put out is subject to change based on testing, not just that one piece.
That's yeah, sure, yeah.
Some things are closer than other things, but yeah,
Exactly.
like we haven't done the full large-scale testing yet. That kind of will allow this stuff to kind of fall out, and we'll start to see where the problems are and what we can do to fix them. So
yeah, for sure.
Stay tuned.
I think we did we do the naval one? I can't remember. So our question from Zanmara is, will naval combat be included in the siege aspect of seaside nodes with harbors having both defensive and offensive capabilities?
Yeah, I've answered this in the past with regards to nodes that are near the coast will have harbor hooks that develop alongside the node's development. Those harbors will provide obviously ship construction locations. They'll provide specific sea-related content and questing. And during a siege of a node that has leveled that harbor up, there will be objectives for the attackers and the defenders to be cognizant of during that siege that reside within the harbor. So there's an opportunity there for ships to engage in part of the siege components when it comes to these events.
Están diciendo que en las batallas en las que haya que controlar un nodo son, para que os hagáis una idea, como una ciudad o como un punto importante, un punto caliente, ¿no? Y que en los puntos en los que haya un puerto, pues que habrá batallas navales como tal, o sea, para conquistar los elementos del puerto y tal. Muy interesante, la verdad, o sea, eso me parece la puta polla, o sea, me parece Dios. Me parece Dios. Que tenga ese componente, un MMO, guau, es la puta polla. Oye, muchas gracias, Rodhawks, por el regalo de suscripción a Sarenix. Gracias a todos por las suscripciones, os prometo que os las voy a agradecer todas. En cuanto acabemos esto, que no le debe quedar mucho, al final fue más largo de lo que pensaba.
To make it, a background thought, as many MMOs I've experienced in the past have done with this trivial, gold component cost of repairing that gear, and that really doesn't scale well. But instead to make it more material based, whereas materials are obviously going to be the life force of the crafting system. As long as we are capable of placing that additional burden of demand on the material systems, that will also help to contribute to the life force of the gatherers and the processors, and helps to just continue fueling that economy.
And then our question from Nico Tulo wants to know, can tab targeted abilities be augmented to become action and combat abilities and vice versa? I think some can, right?
Not really.
Probably not.
No. So I mean, obviously there's a complexity layer that exists between balancing action-based abilities and tab-targeted abilities. Now, some abilities, when advanced with additional skill points, can change some of their targeting mechanics.
That's what I was thinking.
But that's not going to be a simple flip switch where I get to choose at any moment, hey, I'd like to have this ability be an action ability in outside of its tab ability. You'd have to progress the specific ability to a stage where it allows for that. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, and then also we don't want to necessarily mess up somebody's experience based on what they're expecting from a given ability, right? So we want to make sure that the functionality of the ability makes sense in its progression so that it's still usable by the person who wants to use it, right?
Es que os recuerdo que este juego tiene...
Then I'm gonna
Tú
ask
puedes
two bonus
atacar a alguien
questions as well,
sin
because,
tarjetearlo
couple of
y
these-
tarjeteándolo.
Question?
Yeah, because,
O sea, puedes
you
swapear.
mentioned
En el
that
WoW no.
some of them were,
Tú si no
you'd already
tarjeteas a
answered,
alguien
so
en
I
el
wanna make
WoW,
sure that,
no le
just
puedes
cover it.
meter la
So,
mayoría de las habilidades. En este juego sí.
Parsival,
O sea, en este juego puedes swapear entre atacar con target o atacar apuntando. Entonces es una movida el juego. Por eso a mí me preocupa el combate. A mí el combate me preocupa bastante, porque el otro día hicieron un avance bastante grande del combate y era muy raro. Era una movida el combate.
Is this just cosmetic or will it change a character's resistances?
When a character's clothes are affected by the environment?
Yes.
Is that a
Is
thing?
it just
I
cosmetic?
don't even know what that
Or will
means.
it change a character's resistance? So in a past stream, you had talked about how if you're in a cold area, that there may be potential for abilities to have effects based on being cold.
Yeah.
But
You
I don't
can
know
have
if
climates.
there has been specifically armor that will have effects.
No.
I don't
No.
think so.
There are climate effects that occur from a buff standpoint. They can also affect skills. Like, let's say you're using a frost bolt in a winter climate. There's the ability for those effects to be enhanced and or stronger in those climates. But I do not understand or.
I think.
So
I
Sarah's
think
saying
at one
that
point-
Toast is saying that it's because someone was saying that armor got wet in another video that we had. Like you came out of the water and it looked wet.
Oh no.
I think we
No.
talked about this in a live stream a long time ago, where we have the ability to make a thing dirty as it's being used, but that was not something that we were ever talking about as something that's really going to be
It's
functional
more
Right.
in the game.
cosmetic. Yeah.
And that's probably not a direction we're going to go. Right?
And we're probably
It's-
not going to have the dirtiness either, because from a performance standpoint, it is really a multiple on trying to render as many clients as the client has to render. That's a little more difficult, I think.
Yeah, so there isn't going to be.
Están hablando de que el otro día se habló acerca del impacto que tendría el desgaste de los objetos. Por ejemplo, si tú tienes una espada y acabas de matar a un bicho, pues que la espada tenga sangre. Pero está comentando que es demasiado trabajo para los servidores el que los objetos se deformen o que se cambien, porque sería demasiada información más de cada jugador y que sería demasiado. Así que no lo van a hacer. Sería demasiado. Eso es una idea. Eso es una idea. Mira, esto lo hablaba con Carl hace un par de semanas, ¿no? Que la evolución de los videojuegos, de cómo funcionaba la evolución de los videojuegos y tal, y hacia dónde irían. Eso sí que es una parte de un avance de videojuegos. Y eso sí que es una limitación técnica. Evidentemente hay limitaciones técnicas en los videojuegos por cosas que no están desarrolladas. No hay máquinas lo suficientemente potentes como para poder... Hostias, me ha desconectado y eso que me he movido, tío. Bueno, ahora sí hay que volver a entrar. Volved a entrar si os ha tirado, chicos.
Active on our social media. It's right below me at Ashes of Creation and all the places will let you know. I'll do one more
Joder, me moví hace un
question,
segundo, tío, no entiendo.
which is from Nostra, which is how might high-level players be able to help or interact with their low-level friends through the mentorship program?
Yeah.
Un par de
So the
semanas, pero si
mentorship
fue el sábado. Bueno,
program
el sábado, sí.
kind of provides individual quests that can be initiated by the mentor based off of what node that they are a part of. So these are like requests that are determined by either certain buildings and or organizations or the mayor. And there are specific ones that are available for mentors to provide mentees. And they can also participate in some of those quest lines as well, whether that be leading, your mentee through a dungeon, or providing a location for them to arrive with you at, or escort quests for the NPC caravans, or these types of things when done together with your mentor will provide benefits both for the mentor and the mentee as well. So you're incentivized to participate with new players. Obviously, one of the biggest problems that MMORPGs have is the new player acquisition. MMOs do great with retention, but they tend to fall short on the new player acquisition standpoint. One of the ways that the node system addresses that is a large portion of the initial nodes in a game are going to grow mainly around the introduction points around the world. And because they change the spawn tables and the area around them, it keeps it relevant for the later stage players to be returning back to those nodes, which, as we know, a large portion of MMORPG's experience is the social experience. And the reason why traditionally MMOs have had a bad time from a new player acquisition standpoint in the past is because new players join an empty starting area that's no longer relevant, and the base player population has moved to kind of an end stage kind of level. So you don't really see anybody in your initial parts of leveling, and that can kind of be a little bit of a downer and kind of be a problem for the whole social aspect. So because the nodes drive people back to these areas and those areas stay relevant through the changing spawn tables, there are opportunities there for new players to be introduced to a social environment.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, like, the structure of a node itself is kind of agnostic in terms of what your level is, right? So, if
básicamente quieren hacer que las zonas de inicio, como los nodos cambian constantemente, los nodos que son los puntos importantes, los puntos calientes de los que estábamos hablando, quieren hacer que muchos de las zonas iniciales estén en puntos calientes, y esos puntos calientes, al variar, haga que muchos jugadores que sean de más nivel tengan que volver a las zonas iniciales, y así que las zonas iniciales no estén vacías, sino que siempre estén constantemente con movimiento de jugadores, y así que el mundo esté más vivo en su completo. O sea, quieren intentar equilibrar que a las zonas, al cambiar, vuelvan a ser relevantes en distintos momentos del avance del servidor, ¿no? Digamos. No sé si me he explicado correctamente. Es una buena idea para eliminar el vacío que hay en, yo que sé, en barres o
at Ashes of Creation and all the places. We have a lot of dev discussions that are going out. Reminder that we do have a dev discussion coming up. So definitely join us with that. We also have our Glorious Gourd contest, which will be giving away some Alpha 1 keys as well as some other goodies. There might be a graphics card for the top winner.
What?
Holy smokes.
So, yeah. Since Steven already spoiled some stuff, I might as well spoil a little bit more at the end. So for bonus for people who stuck around, you know. But yeah, we'll definitely have some cool stuff, so stay tuned. And, you know, we love you all. We appreciate everybody who's helping us test. We're going to be opening up testing for more people as we progress. Yes. But please be patient with us. Obviously, we're working really hard, but there are things that, like, you know, along the journey, we have to kind of assess whether it's important for us to, like, add more people and when it's good for us. And really that heavily relies on, like, engineering and design and people to really give us the, like, hey, it's now time to test these things. And during these testing phases, you're going to see a lot of bugs. You're going to see a lot of,
¿Cómo molaría que Blizzard hiciese development updates? ¿Queréis que algún día Blizzard estará tan conectada con la comunidad?
Disclaimer here is we are building something that is massive, and you know, our team is phenomenal. We have some very dedicated, talented MMORPG veterans, and we are all dedicated to making the best quality product possible that answers the call of what many of us as MMORPG players have asked for over many years. You know, we're not aiming to be the WoW killer. We're just aiming to fulfill kind of the promises we've made, as well as the the ideas and philosophies that resonate with you guys as gamers. So that process takes time. There's going to be unknowns, things, you know, that come up that we have to address because our end goal is to take the time necessary to deliver the product that we promise.
Bien,
and
bien,
you guys wanna have.
bien, bien.
So
Eso es.
bear with us
Eso es lo que
during this
tenéis que hacer.
process. It is a lot of work. And we're happy to do that work because we want to see a smile on your guys' faces.
We want to play too.
And we want
Me
to
too.
play too, exactly. But we so much appreciate your guys' support and tuning into our, you know, to our live streams. Go follow us on social media. We have a great community team that does an awesome job in having some fun interactions with you guys out there. And we'll do some events in the future. And you know, if you're not registered for the website, go register, participate in the forums, chat with us. We love to hear your feedback. We love to hear your experiences. It's all really important to us.
Yep. Please definitely send that our way. We do have the cosmetic swapping over soon, so stay tuned for the next set. We also have a creative director's letter that will be coming out soon as well. I know Steven's working on that. We've had a lot of stuff that has been going on our side, so we're trying to get prepared for all of the things. And yeah, stay tuned with us. We have a lot more stuff to show you all along our journey, and we'll see you next month for some more content. We'll also
Pues
be
ala,
uploading the
hasta
other
el mes que
video
viene.
as a
Andando,
working video.
andando,
I believe it's
mando
just taking
berros.
time for us to figure out how we upload it. So once
Bueno,
it's
estuvo
up,
bien,
we'll-
estuvo bien la
we'll
reunión de
release
hoy.
that as well as this live stream as well. So thank you
Estuvo
guys
bien.
and gals and pals and everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next month for another development update.
Love you all. Have an awesome week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Muy bien, chicos. Muy bien, chicos. Estoy muy contento, la verdad. Mucho hype. No te has despedido, sí que me he despedido. ¿Cómo que no? Les he escrito ahí en el chat. Joder, ¿qué más quieres, loco? Que un streamer de éxito de más de 5.000 suscriptores te escriba en el puto chat, tío. Un tío que ha pagado 500 euros por tu juego y no ha ni salido la Alfa 1. ¿Qué más quieres, joder? Que te haga la cama y el potito para dormir. No me jodas, loco. Hostias. O sea, más no puedo yo ya. Más no puedo yo. Yo ya no puedo más, chicos. No puedo más. Bueno, habrá que terminar Sunken Temple, ¿no? Hola. Hola.